Okay, so this is my PA Panzer. I've been working on it for years and years. Never videoed it before, but it's kind of gone through a lot of different stages. I do have a mower for it. I do have a snowblower for it. The snowblower was actually a Cub Cadet that I adapted to it. It's got a Harley-Davidson soft-tail stock exhaust on it. It's got a GX390 clone as repower. A lot of crazy stuff going on with this. It's actually one of the later Panzers that I put. It's a combination of two tractors in one. The frame is a little longer. It's actually from one of the last, I think it was the 1110 Meteor model, but it wasn't the hydrostat. It did have the gears, so all the gearing, so forth. But then what I did is I took and I put an actual gearbox out of Lake of an Economy on the shaft. So it is a 3-speed, 3-pulley. I don't know how many that multiplies into. It's got a bunch of speeds. And the gearbox also has its own reverse in addition to the hydroglide or whatever they call that. Have a winch on it for the front mount, and just a lot of stuff going on here. But anyway, what I'm going to do next is, it's going through several iterations in how I move my snow, but at my house I have made a decision that I'm going to go tar and chip, and right now I have a lot of stones, and snowblowers like to throw stones, so I'm going to stick with the blade setup. So the one mod I'm going to make right now, which is going to start this, I'm going to get these lights fixed and headed straight. They're brand new, they work. But I'm going to take away this manual angle, and I am going to go with I think this is like a 350 pound linear actuator. I tested it and plugged it in. So I'm going to mount that on here, take away some of this, and try to make it so that I can get rid of the angle here and do it that way. I have a rear bucket for it. It's kind of cool. It works, but it's based off of a manual front bucket. These are called easy loaders or something. But when I get it on there, it kind of it has handles coming down both sides. You can barely get on the tractor. So one of my upcoming projects is I'm going to use, I think, a snowplow lift in an angle to work the rear bucket. So use electric hydraulic instead of just Armstrong horsepower and picking it up. And that way I could get rid of a lot of these extra handles and really simplify everything. So that's really where I want to start this, even though there's been so much history to this. I do have a mower for it. It actually mows quite well, but I hate running the mower on it because then it gets dirty, and all this work I put into it kind of seems stupid. But hopefully post more videos as I go through. I was going to start today and start working on that manual lift. I also have stuff here. I have a set of tire chains and other wheels for it, but I hate changing out the wheels, so I've got a bar there I can put some weight on, but I also going to fill the tires up with some antifreeze. So I'll try to catch either little pictures or little snips as I go, and anybody who has PA Panzer or just likes old tractors can follow along. So thanks for watching. Okay, so updates. I got the headlights straightened out, more just turning a few wrenches, but now I'm going to start into stripping away all this old angle stuff. And the winch control, still a little undecided on what I want to do to it. I want to create a control panel like right in here, and be able to add and remove things from it as I can. I'd like to be able to use the winch outside of just lifting the plow. So I may just put a regular rocker switch. I do have a remote for this. It will work off remote, works pretty well. But we'll see what happens. So updates, I got the old thing cut away, the angle mechanism. I still got to figure out what I want to do with the cable, because it's like, I'm not sure if we're going to need with this new angle mechanism to lock it out, but I'm going to try to take it off to the side somewhere for now until I have a chance to test it and figure that out. As far as I left this little piece sticking out, I think what I'm going to do is angle that over and try to build. I had this piece left over from that project, it's a different video, and I think I'm going to try to turn it around, make it a bit of a control panel about right here for rocker switches and such for the controls, what I'd like to do is if I make the thing in the back with the lift and so forth and need more controls, that I'd make the ability just to plug in and plug out stuff as they're needed. That will we'll keep on trucking. Okay, so updates. I took a few minutes, in fact everything's still hot here, to make this little panel. Trimmed the edges. I hadn't even realized that I had other timing plate down there from prior projects, so hoping this looks okay. I mean, it's 1/8 inch thick. I don't think it's going to be in any danger of bending early. But what I'd like to do is, and I'm going to work on next, is taking this. This would be my right or left control for the plow angle, and mount it here. I think what I'm going to do is buy another winch in out to rocker here for the up and down. As far as this goes, I mean, since I have a wireless remote, then I think I'll just do away with that, and I use the wire to make a new line, a new rocker, so that the up and down would be here all the time. And if I needed to work out, on front of it somewhere or away from that control panel, I could use the wireless remote. All right, keep at it. Okay, updates. So I got the starts of a control panel started here. The wiring hanging out the back, I might have to build a box or something. I really hadn't thought about that too much. But anyway, I roughed in it, and I have my thing down there. I wanted to, the linear actuator that I wanted to test out. But you can see that I have it set. You'll see like that's supposed to go about 30 seconds, 300 pounds a fourth. Of course, in goes this way. But it takes about 20 seconds to go through a cycle. So for angling a plow like this, it's something using occasionally. It's understandable, and I can deal with that. In the back, I might go full hydraulic, though. We'll see. Okay, first test I found was not perfect, but it's pretty dang good. I got the button backwards. It's worse things in life. But, I brought it over here and stopped to stop. It takes it a little while, but it's going along pretty well. There's always bigger, faster actuators if I wanted to go that route. This one's 12 inches, but it does stop at the end. You don't have to worry about overrunning it. But my first guess at where to place the thing seemed to work out pretty good. There it was, complete plow pivot, and I don't plan on doing it under load. I don't know if this is going to hold up without putting a pin in, or whether I need to come up with some way to place that back into the mix. All right, onward. Okay, so it's late. I didn't get any of the wiring done I wanted to, but for good reason. I welded, re-welded, and though my channel name's a joke on booger welding, I mean, after a while, guys, you get there and you cut something and re-welded it so many times. But now what I have is all of this mechanism is out of harm's way should the suspension in the front pivot and articulate. It's clear. That little plug is kind of it's flexible. It bumps into it, but it's not really a big concern. But the thing, I extended a piece of heavy quarter right out here, and then I even did one again, like version 4, notched that out to get a little more. The plow angle will favor one way a little more than the other, but the price of that versus getting everything out of harm's way, it's no complaints. It will go this way and angle a little farther before it hits the stops, but it looks stronger. It's more closer to 45-degree angle. I think that still, if I ever have to replace this linear actuator, I'd probably go with 9-inch. But for right now, I think this is going to work. Okay, it's the next day. I got some things done tonight. Go over that real quick. So I decided that I was going to do away with the lock for now. I just zip tied it up because I thought if I'm going to go through all this trouble to make angle, I'm going to not want to be fussing around with locking the blade. If it comes that it bends this thing, I'll get a stronger, shorter one and have it at that. So I worked on some wiring. I took the Harbor Freight little handheld one and I cut it apart. I decided to use that on my panel. Right here you can see, instead of ordering a new one, of course I didn't paint it, just kind of roughed it in there, but you know, and a few home wire nuts. What would a project be without a few wire nuts? But those are temporary. So what I did was I am going to, I ordered one, but I'm going to put a limiting switch on here for the up, so that I was thinking about reinforcing and all that, but then I thought, well, you know, if I'm going to go and do it right, make it so that when it comes up and it hits the limit switch under there, that it would shut off. And I did it by doing, I had so much of that leftover wire that I just doubled it up from the winch controller, and I sent these down so that when these two are touching, it will go up. When they're apart, it will not. So that will be go to the limiting switch. And you know, the wiring's roughed in. I'm not going to put too much more effort into this, because honestly, I'd want to see it in action once before I go too crazy on cleaning it up and making things permanent. You know, if I do all that to make it permanent and something doesn't work, then you know, why bother? But here's just a rough pick of how that all works. I'm not going to go all the way through it, but you get the idea. So that's it. Next, I'll be waiting on a few things to come in and get it good enough to try in the snow. Okay, so it's Friday, a nice long weekend, and got snow in the forecast again. So I'm going to try to get just enough done on this Panzer to handle that, see how it shakes out. Some things that I'm probably going to do a little later on. And I posted a video, actually this video is not even out, but I posted a video from 2012 when I had the rear bucket on this to show you what I had in mind for that. If you look at it, I actually used it at my old house to dump mulch, and you can see me messing with the handles and lifting and doing all that manually. I think that's part of the reason I don't use it that much, is it's just awkward to put on and it's awkward to use. So my idea here is that, you know, since I mow my grass with something else now, just a old Toro power handle, I should do actually a series on those. But I'm not going to mow with it, so I really haven't been using this at all. And my thought was, you know, get the front blade on it, get the rear bucket on it, and use it. Have some projects coming up this summer, I could probably use it. And but I'm going to show you what I'm going to do to this tonight. You'll see in that other video in this playlist what the rear bucket is. I've decided I'm going to use a winch to lift it, and an actuator like I did here with the plow to do the bucket tilt. Simple. Instead of using hydraulics, I won't get downforce on the bucket, but it's really not that heavy duty to worry about, you know, digging in, and I'm not going to be using it to cut into an embankment and make room for a retaining wall or anything like that. I would rent a bigger, proper machine. So let me show you what I got in mind for this. Just a few things left to get it ready. See if we get any snow. Okay, so first off, we got I told you I was going to do some type of limiting switch. I got this just off of Amazon. I'm going to mount it, bolster here, and use some pretty light duty stuff that I have left over from that project, making that. A little bit of diamond plate, and make a little extension that comes off of here, which will hit this button and cut it off. I left this wire hanging. When these two get disconnected, it won't lift up anymore. I'm going to do a little bit with the wiring, but like I said, I'm not going to do too much until I have a chance to shake it out. This connection, I'm going to make it out of these. I have the big version of these for doing like battery connections for big things like a winch, and they're great. I mean, you get two of them together. I don't know, a lot of you have probably seen them, but I could have it right now so that the power is coming off my battery tender lead, and it's using, I think they call that an ASE connection right there, going back. And obviously if I get more going on back here for the rear bucket, then, you know, I need more power, I need more connections. I'll have to figure that out then. I don't plan on, I plan on filling up these tires with the antifreeze that comes out of there, actually, because I got to drain that down. But I'm not in any hurry. I think if I get that rear bucket on there sooner rather than later, then that would take care of it. I just gonna do what I need to do to get this thing functional, and then I want to do some more work on that. I'm kind of getting tired of doing this, but I have other tires here. Sorry for the dark, but I have these tires with chains on them. It's just a pain to chain them out. I don't really want to run chains in my driveway. Try to preserve it, and I think these will look better and will do the job. I'm gonna kind of get away from running those chains like I did with the snowblower. So that's it. If I get this where it's just functional, and I'll hopefully do an update tonight after I get these last few wiring and limiting switch done. And then maybe get some snow and get some work for it this weekend and see how it shakes out. All right. Try to do a few things while I work on here, but this is how I make those connections. You got those little nubs that go inside of there, but it's this little flux, little fire, little solder, and then they go together to make that plug. Okay, so here's the limiting switch before I get it up under there and hid. I tested it. When it goes down in here, it stops. So get a look at what that thing does before it's all tucked in there. Can't see it. Okay, so last update. I got the limiting switch, and I had this little thing here that was just laying around from another project, and it seemed to be about the right size, and so it can only go up until it hits that. Did some cleaning up of the wires. Like I said, just gonna run it good enough to try it out, shake it out, see how it goes. But I just tied the wires up as best I could, wire ties, bubble gum. Odd thing is when I was down here, my wife's dog isn't house trained, and the damn thing peed up in the bathroom above me and started dripping right there. I ran up thinking there was a emergency, and it wasn't. As far as what I was talking about with the weights in the back, this is it. There's just a 3/8 bolt threaded up into there, and put some weights on there. I thought I would just at least get a couple plates on there, show you what I was talking about. But until I get the bucket on back here, that'll be the weight. But I'll give you a view from the driver's seat. Maybe if it snows, which it didn't. I think I said once I was going to give it some work, but it didn't snow the last time. So it's right down. It's down. It goes up until it hits that limiting switch. And back down, of course. Of course, the angle blade, right and left. I have to lean forward some from the driver's seat, but this doesn't move very much, and it'll be very reachable and very out of the way. That's the important thing, being able to get up and down out of here without doing anything. Okay, so gonna close out this video about the Panzer and get back working on that. I'm very anxious. I'm gonna get up under there and do some wiring. Flashers don't work, but I'm gonna do radio, get the wiring for the airbags, etc., all the wiring I can think to do under there. But see if I remember to do an intro. I don't know that I did for the Panzer, and hopefully get it some work. If the next video on the Panzer, hopefully be pushing some snow. Otherwise, man, just jump right back into doing that rear bucket that's in, like I said, the other video that posted in this playlist shows a little bit about how that works now. But I'm gonna take it away and take all the handles and put a winch and a linear actuator. Okay, hope get some watchers for this. Subscribe if you can. Want to see where this is going and some other projects.